Welcome back to Night Child Reviews, fresh from seeing Sign of the Times in IMAX in London. I've got to say, it was an emotional time. There were people clapping at every Prince guitar solo. There were people singing all the words, and it was just incredible to see this extraordinary film. So if you've seen Sign of the Times recently in the cinema, please let me know what your experience was, because it was just incredible. And I'm very proud to say, and I hope to say, that Prince will be forever in my life. Now, today we're doing something slightly different, an album showdown with a twist. We're going to do 3 iconic albums: Sign of the Times, the Black Album, Lovesexy. I mean, just 3 iconic albums that only Prince could have made. I'm going to give a few quick reasons why I think each album is just incredible. Let's start with Sign of the Times. Sign of the Times, number 1, the sheer range. You have got everything on that album. You have got socially conscious songs like Sign of the Times. You have got funk in Housequake. You have got ballads, Slow Love, Adore. You have got jams like It's Gonna Be a Beautiful Night. You have got these iconic Prince songs like I Could Never Take the Place of Your Man, Strange Relationship. The sheer range of Sign of the Times is incredible. It's arguably Prince's most eclectic album, and it is regularly put at the top of the greatest albums of all time. It is just the sheer range that came largely from one man. All that range. I still can't get over it. And for me, that's one of the greatest things about Sign of the Times is there's so much in it. There's something for everyone, and it is just extraordinary in its breadth and its depth, and it could have been even bigger with various versions of the album before, but just the sheer range. That's number 1. 2, what I would call happy accidents. Now, there are certain things, Prince was just moving into Paisley Park, and there are certain things that didn't work on a technical side. For example, the Ballad of Dorothy Parker, there's a problem with the low end of the music. You've got the distortion on If I Was Your Girlfriend, which Prince loved. Susan Rogers was really worried that Prince was going to go mad, but he loved the slight distortion on the lead vocal. Incredible. You talk about the way that the Forever in My Life backing vocals are ahead of the lead vocal. There's just so many little accidents, so many little creative things that Prince decided to roll with. And I think that is just when things are going your way, when you're in that creative space, there's something about just embracing the kind of free range chaos of creativity. So I would say happy accidents is the second point. Third point, I would say, is the prolificity. The prolificity of Prince. You think this album, as huge and mad as it is, could have been even more. I mean, there was loads of songs that were left off. You talk about various albums. People talk about, the Dream Factory. They talk about Camille. They talk about lots of different albums around this time. And the fact that Prince left so many tracks off this is incredible. At this time, Prince was on fire. I mean, he was always creative, insanely creative. But there were certain times, I think, where he had these bursts of creativity. You've got to think about 86, 87. I think 94, 95 is another great example. He was so prolific. He was producing so many incredible songs, so many different songs, that this time he was just absolutely on fire. It's incredible, really, to think about it, because in his personal life, this is the time when there were problems with Susanna Melvoin in terms of the relationship was sort of ending, the revolution was breaking up, all these things were going on, yet Prince was just creating this incredible amount of work and this incredible just range of songs. So prolificity, I would say, is number 3. Number 4, so many iconic hits. I mean, you think of Sign of the Times, you think of the song Sign of the Times, you think of Housequake. Housequake is an absolute funk standard, just incredible, just one of the greatest songs ever. I mean, there's no one else that could do Housequake. You've got hits like You've Got the Look, If I Was Your Girlfriend, although it perhaps wasn't originally received necessarily very well, it's an iconic Prince song now. It's one of those songs you think of when you think of Prince. You think of Adore. Adore is arguably, for many people, just one of the greatest ballads Prince ever did. So you think of all these tracks, I Can Never Take the Place of Your Man, you know, Hot Thing. There's so many iconic tracks and so many hits on this album that it's just endless. Finally, number 5, the live performances. And by that, I mean the look and the feel. You look at Sign of the Times, that movie, and it really brought me home the genius, the passion, the joy, and just the man at the top of his game. When you watch Sign of the Times, the live performances are incredible. Prince is on fire. The whole look, the design, you look at the ideas, Roy Bennett and various other people just being involved, just the ideas, the design, the feel, the look, every attention to detail, how the lights work with the costumes, how the staging, the choreography, everything worked perfectly. It was just incredible. It was just a show like no other. I mean, you see it on the posters. It's the greatest live show that, you know, concert film ever made, I think. And seeing it again at IMAX just absolutely blew my mind. So that's Sign of the Times. The Black Album. What can you say about the Black Album? The first thing I would say about the Black Album is it was obviously this famous rebuke to the critics. In the Lovesexy tour program, Prince wrote, "Camille rocked hard in a funky place, stuck his long funk in competition's face. Tuesday came, Blue Tuesday, his canvas full, and lying on the table, Camille mustered all the hate he was able. Hate for the ones who ever doubted his game, hate for the ones who ever doubted his name. 'Tis nobody funkier, let the Black Album fly." And that's the point. He was out to prove a point. People said he's lost his edge, that he was moving away from his black audience, and there was like this criticism that he wasn't as funky as he used to be. And he's like, this is what I do. This is what I do. I can do this like this. This is, you know, incredibly funky, and it's an extraordinary album. And it's a real kind of moment of, how dare you say, almost like, you know, I've lost my edge, lost my funk. Listen to this. This is, you know, I'm choosing to do other songs. I'm choosing to do other work, but I am always funky. And I think that's a key thing, is proving a point. And when Prince proves a point, whether it's songs like, albums, like Gold Experience or like Emancipation, when Prince has got a point to prove, often it's just incredible. 2, what I would call the rap controversy. Now, he got a lot of criticism at the time for the song Dead On It, in which you're saying the only good rapper is one that's dead. But now he claimed later in an interview that this was very much a rapper who's dead on it, one who's saying something, one who's not just saying, I've got this, I own this, I've got this money, I've got this, I've got this wealth, whatever. One who's actually saying something. I mean, Prince wasn't above, you know, tracks that just said how cool he was. I mean, the song Cool itself, which he gave to the time, you know, just talks about diamonds on his fingers and stuff like that. But I think he was trying to say that he wanted his rap and his version, which he did embrace later, to be to say something, to have a meaning, to have a purpose. And at first he didn't embrace rap, and then later on he really did embrace rap. And it was one of those things where there was this changing and sort of jutting of tectonic plates within the music industry, within what people liked and what direction music was going into. And I think this controversy was something he wanted to say, but at the time I think his opinions changed over time. And it clearly, by the fact how much he incorporated rap into his music and worked with other rappers. But it's interesting because I think whenever there's controversy, Prince, for me, one of the great things about Prince, he's not afraid to embrace that controversy. He will like from Dirty Mind onwards, he will go there. And for me, that's brave, because he didn't have to, and he did. And it's controversy is a key Prince thing. 3, I would say, the funk. Oh my Lord. Le Grind. Rock hard in a funky place. I mean, come on. Le Grind. What kind of mind comes up with Le Grind or rock hard in a funky place? It's like Prince is operating in a different planet to the rest of us. It's insane. Where does that come from? What inspires you to create something like Le Grind or rock hard in a funky place? What kind of part of your soul does that come from? It's just ridiculously funky, ridiculously such a groove. The Grind is otherworldly, and I don't understand how one man can do that and do these delicate ballads. It's all within his range. So for me, it's just the funk on this album. Absolutely incredible. Number 4, the reason I think the Black Album is superb is the humour. I think when you think of songs like Cindy C, what's the matter, Cindy? Don't you like me? I'll pay the usual fee. This kind of what would you call it? A kind of jokey, kind of risque humour about Cindy Crawford, the famous model, and what's the matter with me, Cindy? What's the matter with you? Prince is sort of pleading, what's wrong with me? And she's like, nothing. He's like, It's brilliant. It's this idea of, I'll pay the usual fee. What's the matter, Cindy? Don't you like me? And there's a bit where he said, I'm sure you're quite intelligent, a whiz at maths and all that, but I'm a tad more interested in flying your kite tonight. And it's just humorous. And Bob George, come on. Bob George with that classic Prince line when he talks about the manager. Who does he manage? Prince, that skinny mofo with a high voice. I mean, Prince, the skinny mofo with a high voice. It's become a classic Prince kind of meme, and he has that. I think he's very self-deprecating with a lot of Prince's humour. He constantly kind of mocks himself. I mean, you think of Kiss, at the end of Kiss, the extended version, when they're talking about, oh my God, isn't that Prince on television? So is he the strangest looking thing you've ever seen or what? And I think I love that self-deprecation of Prince. So the humour comes through, and I think that's really brilliant. The fifth and final thing for the Black Album is it's a legend. It's a legend. It's one of the most bootlegged albums in musical history. I was lucky enough when I was younger, somebody had an original copy of the Black Album. I was a kid, I didn't really understand. I was a teenager, I didn't really understand the importance of it. They lent it to my mum. I managed to record it onto a tape. I was just borrowing it. And when I think about it now, I mean, it's just incredible. I remember my mum was like bringing in this Black Album like it was sort of a sacred, you mustn't break it. And to be fair, it was worth a lot of money. And it's become a legend. It's become so bootlegged, so talked about, such an iconic Prince moment. The duality of Prince, the dark and the light, and the fact that it was on shipping docks, it was about to go out, and some copy sneaked out, vinyl and CD and various things. And I just find it amazing when it came out again, obviously in 1994. For a lot of people, we've had that as a bootleg for so long that we just we didn't really sort of appreciate how amazing it was. Obviously the vinyl originally, but the idea that we could actually hold the Black Album at some point, we never thought that would happen. So it's incredible. I mean, what a call as well. What a brave call. And to be fair to Warner Brothers, they did it. They could have said, no, Prince, this is going out. This has happened. This is too late now. But it cost a lot of money, and Prince was prepared to pay that money to stop that album from going out. And it was a bold, artistic risk and a huge statement, I think, about Prince's soul. Lovesexy. Now, I have a special soft spot for Lovesexy. Lovesexy was one of the, when I first got into Prince, it was 89. Now, Batman had just about come out. Lovesexy was the kind of the last album that had come out, and so I had posters of Lovesexy on my wall. I listened to Ingrid Gervais all the time. I just loved Lovesexy. It was like nothing else I'd ever heard. So Lovesexy has a real spot for me. First of all, the whole story of Lovesexy. Spiritual rebirth, light versus dark, the fact that Prince decided he was going to go this path, and he was scared that this would be the last thing that he could, if he died, that he would be remembered for, and how he embraced this light, Lovesexy concept after the dark Black Album. And he had that kind of moment, that Blue Tuesday, that moment of crisis, of spiritual epiphany, and how that worked so well in the live show, because you have the darker kind of first half and the more light, upbeat, inspiring second half. And for me, that's the key thing about Lovesexy, the duality, the human condition, good versus evil. 2, Anastasia has to be one of my favourite songs of all time. There's a line in Anastasia where Prince talks about maybe I could find something closer to God, I don't know, something. And it's just this idea of being closer to God. If I could just find something closer to God, something. And that's that yearning. I'm paraphrasing very badly the lyrics, sorry, but just just that yearning of trying to find the answer to life, trying to find something closer, trying to find the reason for life, the key thing behind it, something deeper, something more transcendent. And Prince did that. He searched his entire career through his philosophy openly. Now, most of us have philosophical thoughts and we think about things, but we don't do it in public. We don't do it through our work. And he, from the age of being a teenager, basically has exposed his thinking, his ideas about spirituality, God, sex, lust, everything. And that is just a brave thing to do in the public sphere. 3, layered perfection. Now, for me, what I love about Lovesexy is there's so much stuff going on. When you listen to songs like Dance On, Lovesexy, there's so many things going on. Now, that didn't please everybody. Eric Leeds, who played saxophone on several Lovesexy tracks, said this. He said, I did have an optimistic viewpoint in some of the sessions. Occasionally, I was able to hear some of the songs in their earliest versions, and I was feeling, okay, maybe this is going to be a little simpler, a little less produced perhaps. But of course, that's not what happened. It was among the first albums he'd done primarily at Paisley Park, and I think being a 48-track studio, he seemed determined to use every track at his beck and call. And I think I can understand that, but for me, I know Prince has said the space is where the funk is, but songs like Alphabet Street do have a certain amount of space. But I think I love all the little touches and nods, positivity, the little musical notes, the little vocals in your ear, Prince whispering in your ear, the little nods, the little tiny touches, the little computer sounds, just so many little things going on. I think it's a great headphone listen. I think there's so much going on. And I love that about Prince's lyrics, when you can hear him sort of his backing vocals and just those little nods and touches. I think that all adds to it, and I love layers. And I think that was a great example of how he's moving into that digital age. Number 4, the live show. I wore out 2 VHSs. When you think of the Lovesexy live show, you think of the piano segment, you think of the incredible performances. The last few songs, when you think of When Doves Cry and you think of Purple Rain, you think of 1999, Alphabet Street, just incredible. Let's Go Crazy. I wore that show out. I played it over and over and over again. I think it's one of the greatest live shows. And if they're looking to put another concert on IMAX, please, that would be incredible. Obviously, the Glam Slam recent small club gig would also be awesome, but Lovesexy is an incredible live show, and I think that would make a fantastic IMAX. But I've got to say, the live show for me is incredible. Just the story, the songs, the speed at which he blisters through these songs, it's just hit after hit. You've got the kind of, at one point he's being tied to a chair, the next point he's playing basketball, then he's then he's singing to Cat on a swing, then he's throwing his guitar, then he's just, Alphabet Street's getting in a car. It's got it all. It's got it all. The very last point for Lovesexy, I think, for me personally, is the extended versions. You think of Alphabet Street, I love the extended version of Alphabet Street, but my favourite extended version of Lovesexy has to be I Wish You Heaven, parts 1, 2 and 3. I love that. Take this beat, I don't mind. Your sister ugly, sleep on the roof. I just love that. Take this beat is brilliant on I Wish You Heaven. It's that point where Prince takes one of the shortest songs on the album and extends it into this amazing groove and turns it almost into another completely different song, but it's still got that key theme going through it. Alphabet Street, again, fantastic extended versions. I love that. You don't get that necessarily so much nowadays, but for me, Prince's extended versions are absolutely where it's at. It's just, there's so much incredible work on there. It wasn't just, let's just make the song longer. Some artists just basically make it longer, repeat the things, but not Prince. Prince, this was an example to get some more of his ideas out, and so the extended versions of Lovesexy, just incredible. Sorry I've rattled through that, but I've got to say, those 3 albums I've been listening to a lot recently, and honestly, it takes me back to when I first got into Prince, and it'll always have a special meaning to me. Anyway, which of those 3 albums really hit with you? Was one of them your first Prince album, or is there just one album there that really stands out to you? And if you've seen Sign of the Times in IMAX, let me know. Thank you.